Hello everyone, and this is Hussein, and we are going to talk about limiting reagent in today's lesson. So these are the four learning objectives we are going to cover in today's class about limiting reagents in chemistry. Number one, what is limiting reagent? Number two, limiting reagent in real life. Number three, limiting reagent in a chemical reaction. And number four, how to calculate the limiting reagent step by step. All right, guys, so let's go to the first pointer for today, which is what is limiting reagent. I have seen students struggling about this concept in all my chemistry classes, be it any curriculum, IBs, APs, everywhere. Student has one common question. What is the concept? Like, what is the importance of a limiting reagent? And why a reagent has to be limiting? So whenever we do reactions, guys, for example, in this reaction, let's consider an example reaction. When hydrogen reacts with oxygen, it forms water. Simple, right? H2 plus O2 gives H2O. Now, what happens ideally is for every 1 mole of oxygen, we should have 2 moles of hydrogen. That goes like for a balanced reaction. But when we do reactions in lab or when the reactions happen in nature, they don't happen in balance. For example, if a student is trying to make water in lab by mixing hydrogen and oxygen, he cannot exactly measure the number of atoms of hydrogen and oxygen. Now you will say, okay, he can calculate moles, he can take the specified number of moles, that's fine. But it is practically very difficult to exactly take the same amount of hydrogen that reacts with its comparative amount of oxygen. So what we do is we just end up mixing the two reagents, and when we mix the reagents, we get the product. But what happens is one of the reagents always is extra and more, and the other one is always less. So the one which is less is called the limiting reagent, and the one which is extra is always obtained with the product at the end of the reaction. Now in this example here, guys, if you see 4 moles of hydrogen is reacting with 3 moles of oxygen. So technically, as per the balancing, we get 4 moles of water here and 1 mole of oxygen is extra lying out there in our beaker after the reaction. So we can say that the mole of oxygen which is extra is the excess reagent, and the moles of hydrogen were completely used up and we don't have any hydrogen left. So hydrogen is the limiting reagent. So what did we learn, guys? We learned that in a reaction, the substance which gets completely used up is your limiting reagent. We can also say it in another ways. Limiting reagent decides the product. Yes, this is a very important statement. Remember that limiting reagent always decides the product in a reaction. All right, now let's take an example in real life. As I said, we will talk about what's its importance. So limiting, see, whatever happens in our world happens in chemistry. So in our world, for example, if you are cooking something, or let's say Sam, one of my students, is making a chicken burger. So for making a burger, he will need 2 bun slices for 1 burger, of course, and 1 piece of cheese and 1 piece of chicken fillet. Now, when he combines them, he gets the burger, of course, with all the vegetables and whatever extra add-ons. But these 3 are the main key ingredients. Now, let's put it up together as a reaction here. So we have 2 buns plus 1 cheese plus 1 chicken fillet gives 1 burger. All right, now we can kind of arrange this and ask questions on it. So how many burgers can he make below? So there's one situation given here. I want you guys to take some time out and count these given substances, take them as substances, the burger raw materials, and tell me how many burgers he can make. Pause the video and try to answer the question. All right, guys, so I hope you worked on it, and the answer should be 2 burgers only, right? Did you get that right? All right, if you get it, you're good going, guys. But if you didn't, let's discuss and let's understand what happened. So if we try to see the situation here, we had 6 pieces of buns, guys. Each burger needs 2 bun slices, so 6 bun slices. We had 3 cheese and we had 2 chicken fillets. So technically our chicken fillet is the least in all the ingredients, and that's why it's the limiting reagent. And since it's the limiting reagent, it's deciding the number of burgers. So since we have 2 chicken fillets, we can only make 2 burgers, and that's why that's the answer, guys. So remaining everything else is an excess reagent in this case. All right, now let's understand how to calculate limiting reagents. Now this is important. We get questions about this in all kind of exams across the globe, guys. So let's take an example question. If hydrogen reacts with nitrogen to form ammonia as per the following reaction. So N2 plus 3H2 gives twice NH3. Okay, that's the reaction. If 10 grams of hydrogen reacts with 16 grams of nitrogen, find the limiting reagent. Alright, so if you understood this and you are good in maths and ratios, give it a try, pause the video here and try to solve the question. Alright guys, so for those who did not understand and they need some more help here, let's do it. So step 1, we first write the balance reaction as it is. And basically the balanced reactants in the reaction, because you see the reagent or the reactant has to be one of the two. It cannot be ammonia being a product. So what is the limiting reagent? The answer should be either nitrogen or hydrogen. So we first write them N2 and 3H2. Then step 2, we write the grams of these two given. Sometimes they directly give you moles, so good for you, can write moles directly. Sometimes they give you grams. So you must convert those grams into moles. So finally in step 3, we convert the grams of the reactants into moles. So we get 16 grams of nitrogen is 0.57 moles and 10 grams of hydrogen is 5 moles, guys. Step 4, now very simple. Now I'm going to make your life very simple with it because some of you are not very good in ratios. So a quick tip for this is cross multiply your moles with the balancing in the reaction. So for example, 0.57 for nitrogen will multiply with 3 of hydrogen because that's the balancing of hydrogen there, and 5 of hydrogen will multiply with 1 of nitrogen. So when we do that, we get 1.71 for nitrogen and 5 for hydrogen. Now whichever number is less after cross multiplying, guys, that particular substance is the limiting reagent. So in this question, since nitrogen is just 1.71 and hydrogen is 5, so clearly nitrogen is the limiting reagent, and automatically the other one, which is hydrogen, becomes the excess reagent. So that was about it. That was about limiting reagent. And if you want to practice, here is a test question for you guys. Try to solve this question. It's a similar question, the one we did before in my video. And if you want answers and if you want more resources for this, log on to my test shop and get all the resources you want, whichever board you're preparing this topic for. So that was all about it in this video. I'll get back to you in the next video with percentage yield. Till then, have a good day.